Bliss is actually the feeling that energy has. Like if you could feel what is pure energy like, we call it bliss. And we are pure energy. This body is just a quantum event that's organized to look like I'm a person here. This is just pure light you're looking at, right? Pure light you're seeing when you look at your hand. So in a sense, we're already in a light body. It's just a very dense, slow vibrating light body. So how and why does the light body increase its vibration and become pure electromagnetic energy? Because the soul, the inward consciousness, is connecting with that bliss of the self, which forces the density to expand and become more and more light, right? So if you could imagine, like, what would it be like to be a pure light body? If you watched the video I posted on Thursday, when we go through the densities and showed the fifth density, there's that shot of how a fifth density being is pure light and it can organize through thought. And those particles kind of came together into a person meditating. Like, think about what would that feel like to be pure light? You say, well, how could I possibly have every one of those photons under my conscious control? And to that question, I say, how do you have all the muscles in your hand under your control, right? And your feet and your all the muscles in your body. You don't know how you're doing it, but such is the power of consciousness, right? It has no limitations. So being a pure light body would feel no different than being a physical body here. I don't know how I'm doing any of this. In the same way, you know, a fifth density or sixth density being can rearrange the photons into whatever form they want to appear to you as a person or an animal or whatever being they want. And you have to start wondering, what is the evolutionary path that allows species to evolve like that throughout the universe? And it's through super consciousness. It is through connecting with the bliss of remembering I am pure energy. I am light expressing itself as this. And so Kriya is a great way to start experiencing that bliss. And when you get to the point in bliss, in the meditation where you're experiencing bliss regularly and you can learn to tap into it, that's a very powerful state of mastery to begin operating in, where you can connect with the inner well-being in any situation you want. You know, that's really what the state of mastery is. The name of this course is Master Your Mind, right? Mastery is being able to access the most desirable state of consciousness in any given situation at will. So if you need to be in peace, in clarity of mind, no matter what's happening on the exterior, you can dive inwards and find that peace in that center and begin using intuition, allowing higher knowledge to tell you what the best course of action is, right? You just have such an immediate access to higher consciousness. You know, you have to earn that right through practicing it, connecting with it, falling in love with it. And so that's why I've included Kriya in this course so much, because it's just the best way I've discovered of really building that connection. So I wanted to do a little sort of Kriya.
My website where this broadcast originates from is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. Go there, get yourself a membership so you can stay current with all of the shows, because, you know, we're not going to be broadcasting current shows. We still are right now, intermittently, but I'm trying to give everybody fair warning and due notice that we will be broadcasting. We'll broadcast the show once at a random time live, and that's it. So if you want to stay current with new shows, you'll just have to go to my website, theglobalreality.com. There on the right-hand side of the page says subscribe. Click that. It'll take you to a menu page where you can select what kind of package you want. You can go month to month. You can get a multi-month deal. It's 6 months, a year. Go crazy and get the lifetime deal. I'll just keep refreshing it and giving you a new one every time it expires. You can get one of those for $1,000. Lifetime membership. And yeah, you can also get downloads of most of my films up there. Buy those and help us out. Get Lost Secrets Volume 1, Volume 2. You can get those downloads, almost 6 hours of the film there. Still trying to get the rest of what we need for Volume 3 for the massive, ground-shaking revelations we're going to bring about in this film. And even though our Indiegogo campaign ended, you can still get those top 3 deals. If you get the tip-top one, as I said the other night, you're going to get something extra special in that deal. That's for damn sure. You can also go over to our Rock, Gem, and Mineral page, facebook.com/Let There Be Rocks. One word, Let There Be Rocks. Let There Be Rocks. That's our thing where we sell our gems and minerals and jewelry, all kinds of stuff over there for something I wanted to do and had tried getting off the ground for a long time and decided just to start small and have started small. And we picked up a few customers, and we had a few customers come in recently and get some Moldavite from us. So I had some requests to talk about Moldavite tonight because we had a listener who had got some, and we related his story to the audience, and we just had a huge response from that. So, Darren, your story has really inspired a lot of people. I've gotten tons of emails about it. It blew me away. I mean, that's one of those things, you know, it's always good to relate your experiences like that, especially the good ones and positive ones and the mind-blowing ones, you know, to somebody else who gets it. Because I get where Darren's coming from in that, man. I mean, he's, I don't know for a fact, but I mean, I think from what he's told me, he's not really somebody who really usually has those kind of experiences. This Moldavite's really opened it up for him. And, I've seen the powers of it myself, all this stuff. I could completely relate to where he's coming from, and apparently so can a lot of you out there. It's amazing. So we've had a lot of emails from people very interested, wanted me to talk about it. So I did a little reading about Moldavite last night, and also talked a little bit about Libyan desert glass as well, which is very similar to that. And it has a very interesting story as well. So because I was asked by a few listeners to kind of relate some of this information to you all, I am going to do that. I did it last night, but I'll do it again here. So I want to read this thing about Moldavite, since a couple of our listeners, asked about this. One look at Moldavite, and there's no question, is a stone of greatness. Etherically carved of spiritual fire and destined for purpose. This mysterious green talisman is starborn, formed from nature's violent meteoric impact with Mother Earth. Etched by force and flame as it fell from the heavens, Moldavite returned to the Earth's surface transformed, a glass of amazing delicacy and grace ready to serve humankind. As a stone of connectivity, Moldavite carries an intense frequency, a fusion of earthly and extraterrestrial energies that are quickly felt, often dramatically, in those who resonate with its power. Holding Moldavite for the first time often produces a sensation of heat, first felt in the hand, then progressively throughout the body. In some cases, the heart chakra is activated, experienced as a pounding pulse followed by a sweating or flushing of the face, and an emotional release that may range from laughter to tears. Moldavite's frequency may take some getting used to, but its profound ability to accelerate one's personal and spiritual evolution makes it highly sought after in the metaphysical world, both for its life-altering capabilities and as a catalyst for drawing in light to aid Earth's healing. Moldavite is a member of the tektite group of natural glasses formed from interplanetary collisions. From the Greek word tektos, meaning molten, tektites are glassy mixtures of silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, and other metal oxides with an amorphous crystal structure. Unlike other tektites from around the world, which are tar black or brownish black, translucent moldavite is a deep forest green, is the only variety suitable for cutting and faceting as a gem. Now, that's the important part right there. Did you hear that? Tektites from around the world, which are tar black or brownish black generally, but translucent moldavite is the only variety of tektite or meteorite impact material suitable for cutting and faceting as a gem. And that is up to and including our most current available techniques. Now that right there reveals something quite amazing about another tektite type material, and that is Libyan desert glass or Egyptian desert glass. And we've had a few pieces of this stuff, actually. Every time we get one in, it sells pretty quickly. I don't know, it's strange. They seem to be not quite as expensive as some of the Moldavite is, but definitely much more hard to get. It's much easier for me to obtain Moldavite than it is the Libyan desert glass. But they call it the Golden Ray Ascension tektite. And here's what's interesting about it. In July 2006, a television documentary reported that the central scarab in one of the necklaces found in Tutankhamun's tomb was actually made of Libyan desert glass, an ancient extraterrestrial substance which predates the earliest Egyptian civilization and not Chalcedony as previously thought. This most unusual substance is by no means a new scientific discovery, having been known of since the early 1930s. But what has puzzled scientists is how it came to be in this remote and inhospitable area called the Great Sand Sea of Egypt. The barren frontier between the Libyan and Egyptian borders is a vast desert area with not a single water source for 150,000 square miles. Even at the outset of the earliest ancient Egyptian civilizations, the area where the vast glass field lay had become inaccessible to all but the most handy and intrepid of nomads and traders. Its inaccessibility made this superb stone highly prized in the reserve of the pharaohs. Today, the Great Sand Sea of Egypt is still one of the harshest environments on the planet. And this, together with Egyptian permit restrictions to travel this area to extract samples, make it now incredibly difficult to source pieces, and supplies of genuine stones have reduced to a trickle. With no actual visible impact site, scientists have theorized this field of glass must have been the result of an airborne explosion. The event would have been 10,000 times more powerful than an atomic explosion, with temperatures reaching up to 1800 degrees Celsius. So this Egyptian desert glass, being a tektite material like Moldavite, but much more mysterious, cannot be carved or faceted by any modern hands, by any modern tools. It can't be cut or any kind of way because it just cracks and breaks. And I have a ring, like a pretty large size, maybe like, I don't know, maybe a 10 or 11, maybe larger, a man-size ring in stock of Libyan desert glass. And we had it for a while, but the way they made it, it's like a triangle-shaped piece, and the way that they made this thing, they had to just build basically little, I don't know what you call them, little attachments to just hold and build kind of a shape, the ring shape around this piece. Because there's nothing else you can do if you want to make a piece of jewelry out of it. You can't do any kind of tooling to it or drilling or any kind of faceting or cutting of it of any shape or form. So up until 2006, we were told that the scarab beetle in Tutankhamun's necklace was made of chalcedony, when it actually indeed is made of Egyptian desert glass. Now, go look up Tutankhamun's necklace and type Tutankhamun's necklace scarab Libyan desert glass. I mean, go look at that thing. It's laser etched. Not only is it etched, it's etched with absolute precision. And it's not only absolutely etched, it's smoothed and polished, then cut. Folks, we cannot do that today. Moldavite is the only material of that type known to man that can be cut, faceted, or anything else. I mean, that's what I'm finding more and more in this research, is that the tie into crystals and these materials and the knowledge of them and the usage of them in the ancient times seem to be one of the main things they've been keeping a lid on. They want to keep a lid on. But they're the most ancient, their most utilized ancient technology on the planet is crystals. They've been utilized as technology as long as there have been civilizations here on this planet, according to ancient texts and ancient writings, the Lemurians, the Atlanteans, so on and on. There's even a type of crystal they call the Lemurian seed crystal. And it has these notches in it on the side. And they say that in these notches, there's actual data encoded into these crystals that the Lemurians hard-coded into all the crystals on the planet. Specifically, these ones that they call the Lemurian seed crystals. I've got one for sale, actually. It's like this thing's unbelievable. It's a pink Tibetan Lemurian quartz, seed quartz. It's massive. It's like it's like 8 inches and like fucking 5 inches around. It's just huge. And most of the time you see on there like 1 to 2 inches. This one is like, almost as big around as a fucking, it's like it's like a giant dildo, really. Literally what it is, like a giant crystal fucking, it's huge. But it's got ridges like on almost every side of this thing. And it's amazing to see this headdress of Tutankhamun, this necklace, and see this. Because that most people, that's just going to go right over their head, So I'm so grateful that in this research on the lost secrets, and specifically into the rock wall, that I dove into this geology, because really that's what I'm finding. That's where the truth is. Because that's the stuff you can't explain away. And that's the stuff they want to explain away. That's why in stuff like America on Earth, they didn't even bother introducing that. Because that's where the truth is. That's where the evidence is. It lies in the fact that these materials, specific materials, were chosen for their structural engineering capabilities by advanced level engineers who either had been or had access to knowledge that came from people who had been doing that kind of building for an extreme amount of time, where they can just utilize what's there. And it gives a lot, to me, that gives a lot of credence to, the idea that somebody, I think it's silly to think that people haven't been coming here for eons, and probably every other planet. You think about how many planets and whatnot there are out there. I'm sure there are people from all galaxies and every universe is going around planet to planet and picking up resources they need and heading out. Some of them probably get marooned sometimes, and end up inadvertently seeding a civilization. I mean, that shit happens. I mean, if you think about what the plans are for the future of space exploration, the main thing on their hot plate is getting to somewhere like Titan and getting resources to bring them back to Earth. So if it's the first thing that we want to do when we get space travel, theoretically, if you think about how the universe works, I mean, even though it's silly to think that all life on other planets looks like us and talks like us and the rest of it, the idea that there are universal absolutes and that probably many things in other civilizations are very much like our own, despite the varied amount of differences, it's very plausible. Because, I mean, it would make sense that there would be all of these different races going. I mean, once there's people say, why haven't they been back, this, that, and the other? Well, if they were only there in the first place to pick up resources, and they wouldn't have even gone to this planet if it had life on it already, you know, obviously they went to the planet and started doing the route because there was nothing there. I mean, that's really what all the stories talk about as well. They create a worker, a drone, and